So let's get into it. The first thing we really want to talk about today is fan fiction, specifically Dramione fan fiction. Now, Dramione fan fiction is from the Harry Potter world. Yes, she who should not be named for some people, we get it. And it's Draco and Hermione. Now, here are some books that are being traditionally published. So these are Dramione fan fiction books that are going to be traditionally published. We have Alchemize by Sen Lin Yu. We also have the Julie Soto book, Rose in Chains. And then we have The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. This is by Bridget Knightley. So these are like three of the most popular Dramione books. They're very front and facing. It is clear the publishers put money behind these titles. However, there has been a lot of online discourse surrounding the Dramione fanfiction. So I'm including a screen grab from Marinette on Threads. Again, link in the video description to see the full post. But essentially, this author was saying that I feel like people talking about retooled Dramione fanfiction as something completely different from that. Hags IP are clowning in our faces. These publishers don't believe that. These authors don't believe that. And ultimately, they are marketing to people who know and celebrate the connection. I said what I said. And now I'm showing you, of course, some of the publisher marketing material. So for example, the What is Dramione? And this one is for The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. Of course, there is links to stuff online and explaining the pairing between Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger. We also have the Julie Soto fandom, where this one is for Rose in Chains and just using the Dramione title, the fan fiction, leaning into the fandom to promote these books. So my question to you is, Francesca, because I know you are heavy in the fanfiction world, but how do you feel, one, about these Dramione fanfiction books being published? And then we'll get into the publishing of it all, because these are the top three traditionally published books that are Dramione fanfiction.
I actually think that it's exciting whenever a fanfiction author gets a publishing deal, because ultimately, not all, but ultimately a lot of the people that are writing fanfiction do have aspirations or would love to be a published author. So I think that's always been exciting. That's something that's been happening. So it is always exciting to see that publishing recognizes when an author that started out as fanfic did something that was so good that it deserved to be published and getting a contract and all of that. So I think that's exciting from the actual publishing of something coming out.
Yes, I agree. Most authors come from the fanfiction world. I personally love fanfiction. I be hanging out on the fanfiction websites, okay? It is great. And sometimes some amazing writers come from there. But then let's get into the marketing of it all, because, you know, Marinette is talking about the retooling of the Dramione fanfiction, but also the publishers leaning heavily into the Dramione world. Now, I know there are a lot of people who are not familiar with that, but what is your take on the publishers really leaning in?
So that is where I think the publishers are going wrong with it. And also, so let's backtrack years and years ago. Let's go back to like Twilight fanfiction. Many authors that came from Twilight fanfiction, like Christina Lauren, like a lot of big names, they started off by publishing, maybe writing something that was Twilight fanfiction, most famously E.L. James and 50 Shades of Grey, but it was never marketed. Like that was not the basis of what was getting put out for marketing. And a lot of that is because that is someone else's IP. Like someone else owns that. And now you are allowed to write fan fiction within that universe because there's no money being exchanged. So there's very strict rules when it comes to fan fiction world. You can't print it, you can't sell it, etc., etc. So I feel like for the author to, and I don't know here who is the one making the decisions. I'm going to assume it's the publisher because these are big publishers. Also, something I noticed though with these particular three books, two things I noticed is the Sen Lin Yu, which is the most popular fan fiction of these three fan fiction. This is the most popular. I also feel, in my opinion, it's going to be the most popular book.
Facts.
And that I haven't seen any marketing relating the book to like leaning heavily on Dramione. Like, you know, that's what, you know,
right.
But that's not how it's like how it's what's getting put out.
Yeah, I find that very interesting because I agree. Everyone, if you are watching, this is going to be the book for the fall. Yeah. Okay. All fall. This is all people are going to be talking about. September, October, November.
For sure.
Even Christmas, people are going to be talking about this. It is definitely hands down the largest one. I find it interesting too, to your point, that the author, let's not say the author because it's also traditionally published. There is zero marketing around that. Part of me is going to go on a limb. And again, this is all assumptions, all alleged. I'm going to assume that this author wants nothing to do with it, wants the book to stand on its own. To what you're saying about historically was done with prior fan fiction and them creating their new worlds, because now this is their new, and maybe they want nothing attached to it. And I'm just going to say, if I were an author, which I am not, but I would not want anything associated with the fan fiction or the world that this new book is coming into. Even if you have a history of writing fan fiction, because there's nothing against it. Again, I live in a fan fiction rabbit hole. I appreciate authors authors who start in the fan fiction rabbit hole. And after interviewing so many authors, I realized it is fertile ground for young authors. So many of your favorite authors started writing fan fiction. But to see these two, okay, really leaning in. Again, this is marketing material from the publisher.
Which, by the way, it's technically illegal. They're using someone else's IP to promote something else that they are clearly saying, oh no, this is rewritten, this is reimagined. It's a completely different story. It has nothing to do with the fan fiction. But at the same time, you're using the fan fiction to sell the book, which is basically using Dramione to get sales. So that's illegal, and that can get them sued. And I think they're obviously making a risk assessment decision there.
It is a risk.
So the other thing that I noticed with these particular two is they have been leaning really heavy on this type of marketing material in the past month. When they were sending out the first things, it was still like they said it in a marketing email, but it was very light. And now they're really doubling down on it. So I think that probably was some executive decision made at some point, and they're probably taking their chances on, will we get sued or not? So it will be interesting to see what happens from that, because if they don't get sued, I think it's going to open that up with all kinds of promotion when it comes to fan fiction. And I think that's going to create a different environment to the fan fiction world.
100%. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. How are you feeling about the Dramione fan fiction of it all? Did you even know about Dramione fan fiction? Did you see any of the marketing materials? Again, we'd love to hear from you if you're watching live, but also replay crew, please share your thoughts in the comments.